Seinen is a subgroup of manga that is primarily intended at a male audience of 18 to 30 years old, while the audience can be older, with some comics geared to businessmen well into their 40s. Seinen is a Japanese term that meaning young man or young men and has nothing to do with sexual things. Seinen manga are Japanese comic books aimed towards young adult men. Seinen manga are distinguished from Shonen manga, which are for younger teen boys, although some Seinen manga like xxxHolic share similarities with Shonen manga. Seinen manga can focus on action, politics, science fiction, fantasy, relationships, sports, or comedy. The female equivalent to Seinen manga is josei manga. With the massive following for Shonen manga, Seinen manga are somewhat hidden from many of the readers. And that is why I have brought you the top 10 Seinen manga of all time. Number 10, Ping Pong. Ping Pong is a table tennis manga series written and drawn by Tai Matsumoto. From 1996 to 1997, it was serialized in Shogakukan's Seinen manga magazine Big Comic Spirits and compiled in 5 tankobon volumes. The story follows Peiko and Smile, 2 high school lads with vastly different personalities, who have been friends since infancy. They are now both talented members of Katasei High School's table tennis club. Peiko is soundly trounced by a Chinese pupil, and as a result, he discontinues his practice. Meanwhile, Smile's personality stops him from ever defeating Peiko. Coach Jay, on the other hand, recognizes Smile's potential and attempts to inspire him to overcome his psychological barrier. Number 9, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Series. Hirohiko Araki's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a Japanese manga series written and drawn by him. From 1987 until 2004, it was serialized in Shueisha's Shonen manga magazine Weekly Shonen Jump before being relocated to the monthly Seinen manga magazine Ultra Jump in 2005. The series is organized into 9 story arcs, each of which follows a different protagonist with the moniker JoJo. As of May 2021, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is Shueisha's largest continuing manga series by volume count, with chapters collected in 130 tankobon volumes. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures universe is a mirror of the actual world, with the addition of magical forces and entities. Some individuals may transfer their inner spiritual strength into a stand in this environment. Another major kind of energy is Amon, a martial arts method that allows its practitioner to concentrate physical energy into sunlight through regulated breathing. The plot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is divided into sections, each having its own story and cast of characters. Each protagonist in the series is a member of the Joestar family, whose bloodline descendants have a star-shaped birthmark above their left shoulder blade and a name that can be reduced to the eponymous JoJo. The first 6 parts take place in a single continuity with a generational struggle stemming from Jonathan Joestar's feud with Dio Brando, while the latter 2 parts take place in an alternate reality with a significantly changed Joestar family tree. Number 8, Kingdom. Yasuhisa Hara's Kingdom is a Japanese manga series written and drawn by him. Since January 2006, it has been published in Shueisha's Seinen manga magazine Weekly Young Jump, with chapters collected in 64 tankobon volumes as of February 2022. Kingdom tells a dramatized chronicle of the Warring States period, particularly via the adventures of war orphan Sin and his soldiers as he struggles to become the greatest general under the sky, uniting China for the first time in 500 years. The story follows Sin and Piao, who are war orphans who serve as slaves in a destitute town in the Kingdom of Qin during the Warring States period of ancient China. However, they want to be the great generals of the heavens and train on a regular basis. A minister takes Piao to the palace for an unexplained reason one day, leaving Sin behind. Piao comes to the community on the point of death a few months later, imploring Sin to travel to another village. There, Sin meets Ying Zheng, the current king of Qin, who is remarkably identical to Piao. Sin discovers that Piao was a body double for Ying Zheng and was killed in a power struggle for the crown. Though initially enraged at Ying Zheng for killing Piao, Sin decides to grab the chance and assist Ying Zheng in deposing his younger half-brother Cheng Zhao and restoring the Qin throne. Having been successful in this quest, Sin begins his military career as a Qin soldier and later commander on the battlefields of China's warring nations. He persistently pursues his aim of becoming the greatest general in the world, while simultaneously assisting King Zheng of Qin in achieving his dream of unity and putting a stop to the never-ending fighting. Number 7, 20th Century Boys. 20th Century Boys is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Naoki Urasawa. It was initially serialized in Big Comic Spirits from 1999 to 2006, with the 249 chapters released by Shogakukan in 22 tankobon volumes. In January 2007, a 16-chapter continuation named 21st Century Boys debuted and lasted until July, when it was collected into 2 tankobon. The series draws several allusions to manga and anime from the 1960s and 1970s, as well as classic rock music, with the title coming from T-Rex's song 20th Century Boy. The plot revolves around Kenji Endo, a regular convenience store manager who is just trying to make ends meet. But when he discovers that one of his old pals, Donkey, has unexpectedly committed suicide, and that a new cult led by a person known as Friend is growing increasingly prominent, Kenji begins to suspect that something is wrong. With a few important clues left behind by his departed buddy, Kenji discovers that this cult is much more than he ever imagined. Not only is this mystery organization personally pursuing him and his boyhood friends, but the entire world faces a severe peril that only the friends can stop. Kenji's basic existence of just scraping by is turned upside down when he reunites with his boyhood pals, and together they must figure out how their history is linked to the cult, as the turn of the century might spell the end of the world. Number 6, Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga is a Japanese historical manga series written and illustrated by Makoto Yukimura. The series was initially serialized in the youth-targeted weekly Shonen magazine before switching to the monthly manga magazine Monthly Afternoon. The series has been collected into 25 bound volumes as of July 2021. Kodansha USA has also licensed Vinland Saga for English-language publishing. The story follows Thorfinn, the son of one of the Vikings' greatest warriors, who is one of the best fighters in the merry band of mercenaries led by the wily Askeladd, an astonishing achievement for a young man. Thorfinn, on the other hand, is not a member of the group for the plunder it involves. Instead, after causing his family tremendous misery, the kid is pledged to kill Askeladd in a fair combat. Thorfinn spends his childhood with the mercenary crew, developing his abilities on the battlefield among the war-loving Danes, where killing is just another joy of life. He is not yet competent enough to overcome him, but he is unable to renounce his revenge. When Askeladd learns that Danish Prince Canute has been kidnapped, he devises a daring plan that will choose the next king of England and significantly affect the lives of Thorfinn, Canute, and himself. Vinland Saga, set in 11th century Europe, depicts a brutal epic in a period where murder, lunacy, and injustice are unavoidable, giving a paradise for the battle-crazed and total torment for the rest of those who live there. Number 5, Grand Blue. Grand Blue is a Japanese manga series written by Kenji Inoue and illustrated by Kimitake Yoshioka. It has been serialized in Kodansha's Seinen Manga magazine Good Afternoon since April 2014 and has been collected in 18 tankobon volumes as of March 2022. The plot revolves around Iori Kitahara, who looks forward to his new life on the Izu Peninsula as he prepares to start his college life there, staying in a room above his uncle's diving shop Grand Blue. He is shortly surprised, however, when he meets the local diving club, a bunch of buff men who spend more time drinking, partying, and stripping nude than diving. Despite his attempts to remove himself from the group, Iori becomes rapidly engrossed in their antics, as his cousins demonstrate the delights of diving into the ocean and sea. Number 4, Goodnight Punpun. Inio Asano's Goodnight Punpun is a Japanese manga series written and drawn by him. It was published in Shogakukan's Weekly Young Sunday between 2007 and 2008, and then in Weekly Big Comic Spirits from 2008 to 2013, with 13 tankobon volumes collecting the chapters. Goodnight Punpun or Oyasumi Punpun is a coming-of-age drama that chronicles the life of a youngster called Onodera Punpun from elementary school to his early 20s as he deals with his dysfunctional family, love life, friends, life aspirations, and hyperactive mind, while also concentrating on the lives and difficulties of his classmates and family. Punpun and his family are typical humans, yet they are portrayed to the reader as badly sketched birds. Depression, love, social isolation, sex, mortality, and family are among the subjects explored in the manga. Number 3, Monster. Monster is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Naoki Urasawa. It was published by Shogakukan in their Big Comic Original magazine between 1994 and 2001, with the chapters collected in 18 tankobon volumes. The plot centers around Kenzu Tenma, a prominent Japanese neurosurgeon working in post-war Germany who must choose between operating on Johann Liebert, an orphan youngster on the point of death, and the mayor of Dusseldorf. In the end, Tenma decides to risk his reputation by rescuing Johann, thereby killing the mayor. As a result of his actions, hospital director Heinemann dismisses Tenma, and Heinemann's daughter Eva terminates their engagement. Tenma has lost all hope of a successful career after being disgraced and rejected by his colleagues, that is, until the strange assassination of Heinemann provides him a second opportunity. 9 years later, Tenma is now the head of the surgical department and on his way to becoming the director. Although everything appears to be going well for him at first, he quickly becomes implicated in a string of heinous killings that have occurred around Germany. The culprit is a monster, the same one Tenma saved 9 years ago. Number 2, Vagabond. Vagabond is a Japanese epic martial arts manga series written and illustrated by Takehiko Inoue. Based on Eiji Yoshikawa's novel Musashi, it depicts a dramatized portrayal of the life of Japanese fighter Musashi Miyamoto. Since September 1998, it has been published in Kodansha's Seinen Manga magazine Morning, with chapters collected into 37 tankbon volumes as of July 2014. Vagabond received the 24th Kodansha Manga Award for Best General Manga in 2000, as well as the 6th Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize in 2002. It is one of the best-selling manga series of all time, having sold over 82 million copies worldwide. The narrative begins around 1600, following the pivotal Battle of Sekigahara. Takes Shinman and Matahachi Honiden, two 17-year-olds who join the losing side, are injured on the battlefield and being chased by survivor hunters. They are able to flee and promise to become invincible beneath the heavens. They take shelter with two ladies, but are soon ambushed by the Tsujike's gang, and their paths diverge in the tumult of the fight. Takes resolves to become a wanderer and travel the globe battling powerful opponents, while Matahachi chooses to stay with the women. Takes travels to his homeland, the Miyamoto village, to inform Matahachi's mother, Osugi Honiden, that her son is still alive. Osugi, on the other hand, reacts hostilely because the village despises Takes for his very aggressive and antisocial characteristics, and because the Honiden aristocratic family's future is jeopardized now that their heir Matahachi is absent. Osugi manipulates the situation in order to accuse Takes of being a criminal. Takes resists his pursuers but is finally apprehended by the monk Takuan Sh, who forces him to contemplate his life's purpose. Takuan releases him and renames him Musashi Miyamoto to help him restart his life. Thus starts a narrative that will reveal how the legendary sword master Musashi Miyamoto came to be. Number 1, Berserk. Kentaro Miura is the author and illustrator of the Japanese comic series Berserk. In 1988, Miura debuted a prototype of Berserk. The series debuted the next year in Hakusensha's now defunct magazine Monthly Animal House, which was superseded in 1992 by the semi-monthly magazine Young Animal, where Berserk has been published on an irregular basis ever since. Following Miura's death in May 2021, a posthumous chapter was published. Berserk manga had over 50 million copies in circulation as of May 2021, including digital editions, making it one of the best-selling manga series of all time. It got the award for excellence at the Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize's 6th iteration in 2002. Berserk has received widespread acclaim, owing to its gloomy atmosphere, plot, characters, and Miura's meticulous artwork. The plot revolves around Guts, a former mercenary known as the Black Swordsman who seeks vengeance. Following a turbulent childhood, he finally meets someone he respects and feels he can trust, only to have everything fall apart as this person takes away everything vital to Guts in order to satisfy his own needs. Guts, who is now designated for death, is sentenced to a destiny in which he is continuously pursued by demonic entities. Guts, equipped with a big sword and tremendous power, sets off on a horrific adventure fraught with misfortune, and will let nothing stop him, not even death itself, until he is eventually able to remove the head of the one who stripped him, and his loved one, of their humanity. So, there you have it. Top 10 Seinen manga of all time. And that's been it. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.